The good life is a process, not a state of being. It's a direction, not a destination. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to your favorite weekly podcast, Refreshingly Idiotic. I'm your host, Hana, and today I'm joined by my best friend, Sejal.
Hey!
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, so...
Oh, okay, wait. Before you introduce yourself, since I am your child, because you adopted me, I'm going to introduce you. So...
Okay.
She became my mother 3 years ago when we were at the mall on December 27th, 2019, which she oddly, specifically remembered, but, that's fine. We're not going to question that. So she is the coolest, most amazing musician who's always done with her music assignments. She never wants to do them.
Because they're too advanced for my small brain.
And she is my biggest hype woman and the prettiest lady I know. Okay, now you can introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Sejal and I'm Hana's best friend.
That's it.
And that's all they have to know.
Are you sure?
Also, fun fact, the music that you hear in this podcast, I actually made it, so.
So let's cut to rolling the intro music.
So you know the time that we met and you...
So there was this lovely November day when I was in grade 9.
And I was in 11.
Yeah, and she was 1,000 years old. And so basically I walked in to go to choir practice, which I had been doing for on and off since September. And we had this huge crowd of people. And all of a sudden, there's 3 people in the room. You guys all said you were a rock band. And I was there for choir. And apparently I tripped, but I do not remember tripping.
You did though.
But do you have proof?
In my brain, yeah.
Okay, also we are now gonna roll a clip of Sejal's brain because that's the only place she has proof. And note she has short-term memory loss.
You did not have to call me out like that. This is not what I signed up for.
But I've been trying to prepare you. Okay, so we met through choir, but we weren't really friends.
Yeah, you were sitting beside me, but we never really talked. You were on the right side of me and we did not talk at all.
Yeah, but there were only 4 of us.
Yeah. But I talked to the other 2 more than I talked to you, so.
Yeah, that's because they were all in grade 11. And I'm just that child in the group.
The child.
So yeah, I'm in grade 9 and the other 2 kids, and I don't know about you, but they thought I was a grade 11 transfer student.
Oh,
so
you
now
looked like a child.
Because I've asked the other 2 people, what was your first impression of me?
Of you, that you were very clumsy because you fell at the door.
But I did
tripped on. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Guys, she did fall. Just saying.
That was your first impression of me.
No, that and you were very hyper. Like a child. Very hyper.
I was wearing ripped jeans, high heels, and a leather jacket. Yet I was hyper and I didn't speak at all. I asked if this was choir practice and they said no and I walked out. That's what I remember.
Yeah, I remember that too.
I was a hyper child. So there we have it. On that note, I think we should start getting into the question of the episode. Now, Sejal, I have a question for you.
Whenever she says that question to me, I get traumatized. I literally get chills hearing those words come out of her mouth.
But I promise this question won't be as stressful.
Okay.
Why does the earth spin?
Oh.
Okay, never mind.
I hope you heard the pen just slam on the desk because dramatic effects.
Yeah, she said that before this conversation started, she said that she would start crying if I asked her any questions like that. So I had to test her and see if she would actually cry or if she was lying to me. Okay, so the actual question for the episode that I picked out was, what's one thing that you can't live without? Do you want to get started?
One thing I can't live without is my phone because I don't like talking to people. And so I feel in those situations where there are a lot of people surrounding, I can just pull out my phone and ignore those around me.
On that note, I think mine would probably have to be my headphones. Literally for the exact same reason. When I am in a crowded place and I'm starting to feel overwhelmed, and I can just get my headphones and I don't have to listen to anybody, but I don't also have to walk away because I'm just in my zone then. I guess with my phone I can try, but I'll still hear everybody and I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
any source of music. On the note of having different answers for the same reasons, let's get into today's episode, which is all about BPD.
And obviously, you're not going to explain what that means, but in case you guys didn't know, it's borderline personality disorder.
So I could have been about to explain it. So the definition is a personality disorder that affects your sensitivity to the world around you. So most people, Sejal included, thought that borderline personality disorder and bipolar disorder were the exact same thing, but they are not, because borderline personality disorder is personality disorder and bipolar disorder is a mood disorder. And if you want to listen more about that, go to 3 episodes back, I believe, and you'll be at bipolar disorder. But now that I've made Sejal do the research, see what the difference is, do you want to go ahead and explain what the difference is between the two?
Putting me under the bus there. I really appreciate it. Anyways, so the difference between mood disorder and personality disorder is that mood disorder is less long, intense episodes of depression and hysteria. Personality disorder affects your personality in its entirety with a pattern of symptoms.
There's 3 main different categories, clusters A, B, and C. So a person that is in the cluster A category might be suspicious of others, more distant, and they might have stranger behaviors that you might not be able to understand. Cluster B, so if you had borderline personality disorder, this is the cluster you're most likely in. This is also probably the cluster that Sejal is in. So this is the one.
I feel so attacked.
That's the point. So this is the one with unstable emotions and moods. You might be more driven to success and be manipulative. Not that Sejal is like that, but the other ones. And you might care less about different things, and you probably have constant mood swings.
I guess that's me.
Maybe we should change the cluster name. Cluster Sejal.
I might actually start crying.
Please don't cry. Anyways, the last cluster, cluster C, is the one that I originally thought I fell into, but the more I researched into it, I didn't. But this is the one with where people are constantly in fear or in states of anxiety. So they might be clingy, they might be very dependent or afraid, they might have low self-esteem, high stress level. Now that we know the difference between a personality disorder and a mood disorder, let's get into the different types of borderline personality disorder. There's 4 different types: discouraging borderline, impulsive borderline, petulant borderline, and self-destructive borderline. Sejal, do you want to get us started with destructive borderline personality disorder?
Okay, so a person with discouraged borderline might look a bit like someone with dependent.
The next type is impulsive borderline disorder. So this one is where people that with this disorder are more prone to risky behaviors, and they might be doing more risky things that are life-threatening, for example. And they're probably more attention seeking, or they want acceptance from others.
Okay, so the next one is petulant borderline, which is also sometimes referred to as the angry subtype. And those who suffer from it can waffle between feeling unworthy and explosive anger, and they can be fearful, anxious, possessive, controlling, and also jealous.
The final type is self-destructive borderline personality disorder, which is, again, people who want to engage in more risky behaviors, not because they want the attention, but because they don't care at all. So they just want to do something that'll make them feel. Let's get into how you might be more prone to it. So risks and main causes.
So with genetics, it can be passed down by family members, just how your brain works, or it can also be caused by hormonal imbalance.
For environmental, it'll definitely be more social. So the way people are acting around you, if there's a lot of personality switches, maybe that'll translate into your personality. And it can be any family history, traumatic events, or instability in the things that you absolutely need to survive. So any basic needs or living situation. Now that we know if you're going to be more prone, let's talk about signs and symptoms. I have 7 of them, but there are also so many more. And if you're matching up with a lot of them, I would just go to your doctor and see if you need to get diagnosed. We're not trying to diagnose you over here. The first main symptom is fear of abandonment. So maybe you're a lot more clingy, or you never want to be alone, like you have an intense anxiety about being alone.
The second one is unstable relationship, which is intense but short relationship, and there's no middle ground.
So like our relationship where we went to like not being friends to all of a sudden being best friends.
That was weird.
Yeah, like the more I think about it, there was no middle ground with us, like at all. The next one is ever-changing self-esteem. So sometimes you feel like you're on top of the world and like you're the best person in the world, and then sometimes all of a sudden you're just done. You don't think you're good enough at all. Like maybe you want to die.
The next one is extreme mood swings, which is many highs and lows on a daily basis.
Some tips to cope with BPD are to break down how you're feeling, journal it, record it, look at patterns, and when feeling disconnected or lost, stimulate more than one sense at once. For example, food tasting, which is smell, taste, touch. Start to face triggers and control reactions. Find different coping mechanisms.
Last but definitely not least, there's treatments. So there's cognitive behavioral therapy, which I've talked about before, which is just talk therapy. And then the other main one is dialect behavior therapy, or DBT, which is where you're understanding experiences and how it can be opposed to like the other side of things. You can be introduced to new skills and tools that will help you cope. And lastly, you need to stick to it for a long period of time. So I would say about a year, so that it'll help reduce your symptoms and likeliness of getting more mental illnesses. I think that just about wraps up today's episode. Thanks for joining me for today's episode. It was so much fun. And by the way, ironically, this episode goes up on May 9th, which is Mother's Day.
Where's my gift?
Flowers are in the mail. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.